I have a question for you. Why are these people kneeling in front of a statue that apparently represents a creature that doesn't even remotely resemble our species? Asked Al Quaro, sitting down next to me. I turned around, looked at the statue, and took a deep breath. People pray, I said to him. He was still a boy, and I didn't know if he had reached the age to talk about our past. You mean praying, like to a deity? I thought we were ready for people to know that gods don't exist, and that those who believe in them are just looking for simple answers to complex questions. I took a sip of magma, and looked at him with a serious face. Gods just don't exist the way you think they do, but I don't think you're old enough to understand that, I said to him, and turned away. What do you mean? He asked. I turned back to him. This statue represents a human, I answered him. Human? What do you mean? He asked, puzzled. Humans are the gods we pray to, but since I assume that you won't stop asking, and you'll need to know in a few days anyway, I'll tell you why. I put down my drink and began to tell the story. Many years ago in this galaxy, the Milky Way, 2 new civilizations emerged. These 2 civilizations were the Pan-Agrasso and the humans. The humans were very reserved. They did not show the technology they had, and did not seek conflict. On the contrary, they welcomed all peoples to their home planet, which they called Earth. The Galactic Federation, which was supposedly the most advanced civilization at the time, saw the humans as a people that could be exploited. The Federation and all other allied races saw them as a doormat. They exploited the good nature of the humans, until the humans drew a line and showed a fraction of their technology. They created a massive shield that surrounded their entire solar system. They would have had every reason to seek revenge, but they did not. They simply isolated themselves and made it clear that they did not want to be disturbed, or there would be consequences. After a few unsuccessful attempts by the Federation to penetrate the shield, they gave up and went about their business. This is the moment when the Pan-Agrasso come into play. They were a highly developed race, but their behavior was the exact opposite of humans. They were bent on war and colonization. They occupied planets, killed their inhabitants, and enslaved those who were unlucky enough to survive. The Federation and its allies tried to stand up to the Pan-Agrasso, but they had massively underestimated their technology. Within a very short time, not only were the Federation's allies destroyed and enslaved, but the Federation itself had to surrender unconditionally. It was obvious that the Pan-Agrasso had already surpassed the technology of a Type 2 civilization, as they conquered the entire galaxy within a short time. All the races that had existed until then lived in fear of being wiped out by them at any time. They were cruel to their slaves. They tortured them, separated them from their families, or let them watch their families being executed, before they themselves were tortured and killed. And then there was only one race left. The humans. The Emperor of the Pan-Agrasso wanted to be there himself when the last free-living race in the Milky Way was destroyed, and his rule was completed, so he decided to take his mothership, the most technologically advanced ship of all, and step in front of the human shield that still surrounded the entire solar system. With a superweapon capable of disabling entire systems, they destroyed the shield and invaded. They decided to fire another shot at the star, which was surrounded by a Dyson sphere. They thought the ensuing supernova would do the rest. But just as the beam hit the surface of the star, it was suddenly reflected by another shield. The beam returned to its sender at double speed, and within a second, the mothership was vaporized. Their emperor was dead. To say that the Pan-Agrasso was shocked would definitely be an understatement. But they had no time to react, as countless ships appeared out of nowhere, each more technologically advanced than the mothership itself. The space battle was very one-sided. The Pan-Agrasso didn't stand a chance against the overwhelming power of the humans, and retreated. The humans were now ready for war. Within a month, the humans created wormholes with which they reached all corners of the galaxy in a very short time, and freed them from the influence of the Panagrasso. When the Panagrasso had only 4 planets left and their entire space fleet was decimated, they surrendered without conditions. And then something incredible happened. The humans showed mercy. They could have easily wiped out the Panagrasso, but they did not. They gave them resources to rebuild. They even created wormholes, through which the Panagrasso could quickly travel to their other planets. The only condition was that all 4 of the planets were equipped with a planetary shield that would prevent the Panagrasso from ever setting foot in space again. The humans then visited each race that had been enslaved and gave them resources and technology to rebuild. The individual races thanked the humans, whose technological level at this point exceeded even that of a Type 3 civilization. They theoretically had the means to rule hundreds of galaxies, but they remained modest and only wanted to stay in their solar system. The races were aware that this galaxy actually belonged to humans, and that they only lived here. The only thing the humans wanted as a reward for their deeds was the black hole in the center of our galaxy. They called it Sagittarius A. They used technology to move the black hole and place it above their own solar system, where it continues to provide unlimited energy for humans trapped within a massive structure. No other civilization would have been able to do such a thing. Our race was also liberated at that time, and the humans are something like gods to us after all. And now they have even placed their troops at all ends of the galaxy to prevent any race from ever being like the Panagrasso again. Every now and then they visit us, and because they have announced their visit in a few days, people are beginning to pray again in front of the statues they have erected in honor of their saviors, their gods. Alquaro looked at me with wide eyes, and I could see from his expression that he was now worried. But if they really are that powerful, what's to stop them from destroying us in a few days? I laughed and said, "You don't have to worry about that. Humans are peaceful and nice to everyone who is nice to them. Maybe you'll talk to some of them in a few days when they arrive. Just be respectful and polite, and you'll realize that you don't have to be afraid of them. Besides, I thought you could tell from the story that they are our protectors. One of the reasons we pray to them." He seemed relieved, and I turned back to my magma drink. "In a few days," I said, and started smiling.